Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday, June 29th, 2023 edition of StudentLoanJustice.org. My name is Alan Collins. I'm founder of StudentLoanJustice.org. We are the oldest, largest, first, and only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. You heard it here first. I'm going to get right into it, folks. Again, we were denied the ruling from the Supreme Court on Joe Biden's lame loan cancellation gimmick. It's really kind of surprising why they were stringing us out this long. Was expecting it on Tuesday actually, but here we are on Thursday, and again it didn't come. So that is what it is. Tomorrow, at least formally, is the last day of the session for the Supreme Court. So by all accounts, it should be coming tomorrow. And couple of announcements. I will be on News Nation, the news channel, tonight. In fact, in about less than a half an hour, 7 p.m. Eastern time, that I did an interview with them today earlier. We will also be interviewed live on national radio, national television, I believe. And also, we're doing a deep dive with another national radio show tomorrow. So, assuming the Supreme Court ruling comes out, which, who knows? I've never heard of a case being delayed and postponed through the end of a session, but that's not to say that it's never happened before. So, it may have. I haven't looked really closely, but anyways, they're saving the best for last, apparently. I still believe, unlike almost everyone else, that they will actually affirm this cancellation, but we shall see. So a couple other announcements. We are asking everyone to get on C-SPAN, to call into C-SPAN. And today we got 2 calls in, which is not bad. I'd like to get at least 2 calls in tomorrow morning if we can possibly do it. I've used up my call for the month. In fact, I called less than a month ago, so I'm not sure how I got through, but you can only call into C-SPAN once a month. But we're asking everybody to do that. And so here, just for shits and grins, this was a particularly good call, I might add. And so I'm going to play the calls that we did get in today. And also, I'm going to play some reactions from other callers to our calls. I think you'll be pretty impressed. I don't know. I've called into C-SPAN many, many times, but this one kind of stood heads and shoulders above the rest in terms of the quality of the call and how receptive they were and so on and so forth. So I'm going to share my screen here. So first, here is Jackie from Texas's call. And I hope you can hear the audio. I'm not sure how a Restream works, but let's just see.
Be on the court.
Okay, Jackie in Dallas, Texas, independent. Jackie, good morning. We'll take your thoughts.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to say that regardless of what the Supreme Court decides today about student loans, the issue is that we need the bankruptcy rights restored for all student loans. There's just absolutely no reason that student loans should uniquely be not allowed to file bankruptcy. All other debts, collateral and non-collateral, are allowed to file bankruptcy, and student loans should also be allowed to. That's the key factor, and that's the only solution, and that's the only way that this is going to get solved, is to restore our bankruptcy rights for the student loan borrowers.
All right. Jackie's thoughts there in Dallas, Texas.
You go, Jackie. I love that. And Jackie nailed it. She hit all the points. It was a beautiful call. Now here is me. Actually, this is a little bit earlier on in the broadcast. And let me just dial this in for you again. Okay, here we go.
Supreme Court justices. Alan in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, independent. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Greta. Hey, my view of the Supreme Court, quite frankly, sort of depends on how they decide the decision this morning. Hopefully they will, on student loan cancellation. It's become a politicized issue, and it doesn't need to be that way. The president and the secretary have clear, broad authority to cancel student loans. In fact, Donald Trump, as president, was the first president to broadly cancel student loans by executive order. And so this case, quite frankly, should have never made it to the courts. And I hope that some of the justices like Amy Coney Barrett and others, they will rule against even the standing of the plaintiffs to bring this case in the first place. And, the sad thing about this whole case, Greg, I should say, that no matter how the Supreme Court decides, the student loan borrowers are still absolutely screwed. The number one dream of the student debt collection industry is to get these loans turned back on and the constitutional right of bankruptcy remaining gone from the loans. And no matter how this case goes, $10,000 doesn't help the worst hurt borrowers. And come end of summer, there's going to be tens of millions of people who are not going to resume paying their loans, and they're going to be served up like sheep to the slaughter as long as the constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy remains gone from the loans. And I wish Congress, particularly the Republicans, particularly the House Republicans, would get this through their skulls because, politically, sort of optically, the Republicans are looking like crap on this. This is their base. Their base has student loans. Like over half of student loan borrowers are either Republican or independent.
So, Alan, do you think that that's the way that there could be some bipartisan agreement if the two sides would come together on the bankruptcy part of this? That
Absolutely.
If someone can prove that they are bankrupt because of student loans, that you would allow them to file bankruptcy.
Right. Student loans should be treated exactly the same way as all other loans in bankruptcy court. There was never a good reason to remove this very important right. Republicans are saying, good Republicans like John Cornyn, Josh Hawley, Matt Gaetz, and others in Congress agree, the people from the Federalist Society, the Cato Institute. But yet Congress seems to be, and particularly the Republicans, seem to be unwilling to actually make this happen. But it's not just the Republicans, Greta. Last session, the Democrats blatantly betrayed the citizens with a House bill in the Senate, S-2598. They had the House, they had the Senate, they had the presidency. And at the very last minute, the Democrats betrayed the citizens on bankruptcy. So, there's a real opportunity here for some bipartisan cooperation going forward, regardless of the Supreme Court decision.
Alan, tell us why you follow this issue so closely.
Well, I founded something called studentloanjustice.org many years ago, and interestingly, we started the petition way before anybody was talking about canceling student loans by executive order. We started the petition that sort of launched that whole idea into the public conversation. And so it's been pretty amazing to see it be picked up by leading senators like Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, and to come where it is here today. We knew it would be controversial, and so today's a pretty big day for us. But as I said, this really isn't the core of this issue is bankruptcy. So,
Alan, what do you think the court will do on this, on President Biden's student loan forgiveness? What's your prediction?
I actually think that they will affirm it. I think if you look at the merits of the case, it's kind of a slam dunk. The plaintiffs have no standing. The law is, no matter, there's different parts of law, but the law in question is pretty unambiguous. I think the court will probably affirm this. But, I don't think it's a win for the borrowers because, as I said, $10,000 does not help, the woman who has repaid $100,000 on a $25,000 loan over 40 years and still owes over $100,000. There's a lot of people out there like that, particularly the older crowd. And to them, a lot of our members say, they may as well add $10,000 onto my balance because it's just monopoly money at this point for many, many people. So,
okay. Alan's thoughts there in Wisconsin. We'll go to.
Wow, was that not a long call? I can't believe how long they let me talk on that. But yeah, so I hit all the points. I don't expect most people can get a call in that long. That's like 3 times longer than the longest call I've ever gotten in on C-SPAN. So, so this really actually helps, guys. Like even just getting on for 15 seconds and saying bankruptcy's got to be returned to these loans. Even that would be very good. And I'll tell you why. Lisa Ansel in California was asking me, is C-SPAN really that important? And I'm telling you, it is. Decision makers really do watch C-SPAN. So I lived in Washington, D.C. for a little over 4 years, I believe. And I was trouncing through the congressional offices all the time, like twice a week. I would go and deliver flyers, and for a meeting or this meeting or that meeting, I was going through the halls of both the Senate and the House for 4 years. And I can tell you that in the mornings in those congressional offices, like some of the TVs in the waiting rooms had, Fox News or CNN, but a lot. I mean, I couldn't give you a percentage. I'd say maybe half or something, like a very large percentage of those congressional offices. They have C-SPAN Washington Journal on in the mornings. So the people who have jurisdiction over this problem, they watch C-SPAN, guys. It's really kind of it's really kind of a gem. The fact that it's so easy to get in, so easy to call in and have your say. And I think as this call illustrated, if you're articulate, which hopefully I was, and you're on point, you can really do some damage. Like I made almost all the points that I like to make in that little 6 or 5 minute call. So anyways, call C-SPAN. It really helps. I'll tell you the numbers. You can write them down if you want, or just rewind this. It's 202-748-8000 for Democrats, 202-748-8001 for Republicans, 202-748-8002 for independents. That's almost always the protocol that they use for their phone calls. So do that, guys. It really, really, really does help. And the one thing that we've learned over 18 years of doing this, more than anything, is that this is not a wait and watch it happen movement. This is not something where you can kick back and cruise the internet and somebody else is going to pull your weight for you. That never works. Talking heads that you see on TV or on the internet, talking heads like me, we're not going to do your work for you. We cannot pull your weight for you. And, we've got 1.4 million members in this group on paper. Guys, I'm telling you, that's absolutely meaningless. This group in particular, and I don't know why this is so true for us, but I think we are the victims of the laws of large numbers. And I don't know if this is an axiom or anybody else has ever stated this principle, but it would seem to me, certainly for this group, that the more people come onto this group and the more sort of attention that we get in the media and elsewhere, the lazier our members become. They're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, this group's totally got it handled. No, we do not, ladies and gentlemen. 1.4 million members is meaningless when on any given day, maybe a couple hundred people are doing our daily actions, maybe. And that's like a pretty good day. Like probably the best day we've ever had, maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 people did our daily action. That's guaranteed to keep us in debt for the rest of our lives, guys. This actually and absolutely and no bullshit actually does start with you sitting there. We're just normal people on this group, guys. We don't have $1 million in funding. We don't have really any funding to speak of. By the way, sorry, quick segue. If you could donate right now, it'd be super helpful. We need 23 people to donate $10 to get us through this week. So as you can tell, we survive and thrive and fight, and we can win this battle on very little money, guys. And please donate if you can. But we can't do it on nothing. But what really wins this game for us, guys, it's not money. We don't have that. It's people. It's normal, living, breathing people who have had enough of this big government tyranny. And that's exactly what it is that we're living under here, guys. And this is your life. And these are your loans. And this is your livelihood. And you can sit here and watch me on Facebook until the cows come home. And that will not help at all. If you want to help, the first thing you will do is go to our website and do our daily actions. Look at the top of the page. Very easy to find. Do our daily actions. They're quick. They're easy. They're fun. It's usually like Twitter stuff, like retweet this, retweet that. That's usually a daily action for us. Takes 20 seconds to do. Might not seem like you're doing anything by doing that, but guys, the power of large numbers should be working for us. It should not be a curse on us. If even 10% of the people in our group were doing our daily actions, that'd be 140,000 people per day, overwhelming the switchboards in Washington, D.C., overwhelming the Twitter accounts of everyone that we target. We have a massive, massive muscle to flex, guys. And that only will happen, only when you get off your ass, start helping us. And I think most people on this group, and I'm going to look for your questions and comments now on Facebook and Twitter. I think most of the people on our group that are doing these daily actions and far more, they'll tell you that it feels very good to fight this fight. You know, we are the pioneers, guys. We are, in fact, the tip of this spear. We are making history here. And so you can't unhear that, you know. As corny as it sounds, the country actually needs you. So what was it in typing class? Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. It's actually true on the student loan thing, guys. And nobody but you is going to do it. And the fact that we've been here for 18 effing years proves that. Don't be lazy. Don't be cynical. That's exactly what the opposition wants you to be. They want you to sit on your ass. They'll even give you some popcorn. And even some, quite frankly, most. In fact, I wouldn't, maybe not all, but most of the other groups out there claiming to be fighting for student loan borrowers, they are making money on the sly, guys. They're making money from the student loan industry. They don't want to solve this problem. They're making too much money from this problem. They want to pimp this problem. They are not going to solve this problem. And they would like nothing more than for you to sit on your ass, do nothing, eat popcorn, read their stuff. You know, they'll dance and sing and pretend like they're fighting, and they'll probably do everything they can do to make you feel like you're actually helping or something. I don't know, man. But those groups can't be trusted. None of them are fighting for bankruptcy, and that should be telling you a lot. This whole thing comes down to bankruptcy, guys. We are not going to see meaningful loan cancellation from Joe Biden or the next president or any president unless and until we get the constitutionally enshrined leverage of bankruptcy returned. And the other groups know this. They've got to know this. The other groups have been doing this for at least 10 years. They're not stupid. They know what I know, or they certainly have no excuse for not knowing what I know. And what I know is what I just said. It all comes down to bankruptcy rights, guys. We will be powerless to call for anything unless and until we have the leverage of bankruptcy returned. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. Few people should actually even have to file when we get the right returned. But we've got to have that power back on our side. That's why the founders called for it in the Constitution, and had the power to raise an army and declare war. So, okay, I'm finally getting around to your comments. Sorry if I can't get to them all. I see we have some here. So Joanna Kearns is with us from Florida. Hey, Joanna. Outstanding, good for outstanding job. Joanna says, well, thank you, Joanna. Thank you very much. Joanna says, I did try to get on to C-SPAN many times, but the line was busy. That happens. I'd say on average, I usually have to call into C-SPAN about 3, 4, 5 times before they let me on. And if I've already called in the past month, usually they'll drop the call. So yeah, guys, it's not a hard thing to call into C-SPAN. It actually helps. And I just hope that you'll take that to heart. It's the minimum that you can do. Like, how much effort is it worth on your behalf to be either completely rid of your student loans, like gone, you can move on with your life, or at least have your student loans handled to where it's not a menacing monster that's keeping you up at night, right? So, quite frankly, I think the entire lending system should and probably may, possibly probably will be totally canceled when we get the leverage of bankruptcy return, guys. Because the people in Washington, D.C. know what I know. What I know is that this lending system is toast. And for all involved, it's probably better to simply throw the grenade, there's no baby left, just throw out the bathwater and start higher education financing again from scratch, reinvent it. I honestly think that's probably what probably will happen, but it will only happen when we get the right of bankruptcy return, guys. Until that happens, we're going to be begging Joe Biden or the next president forever. And come end of summer, guys, it's going to get very fucking ugly for us. Pardon my French, but it is. The number one dream of the student debt collection industry is to see these loans turned back on and bankruptcy rights remaining gone from the loans. And that is breathing down our neck right now, guys, no matter how the Supreme Court thing goes tomorrow. So just bear that in mind, if you would, please. So, okay, guys, I've gone way too long, and I apologize. I wasn't able to get to all your comments, but I will certainly respond to any and all comments going forward. Tomorrow's a big day for us, guys, and arguably the biggest day in the history of this organization. So please just do your part. You have no idea how important you could be. Okay, guys, so I'll see you tomorrow. Check out News Nation like right about now if you want to see me do what I thought was a pretty strong interview. But I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck, Godspeed, and God bless everyone.